What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Two Game Podcast, where I am continuing to review Daredevil Born Again with episode 6, Excessive Force. If you have not watched through episode 6, I highly recommend pausing this episode, catching up, and then coming back once you have caught up through episode 6. I'm going to recap the episode and then give you my final thoughts on it. So let's go ahead and jump into it, guys, because I got several things to talk about for this one in particular. So after the failed robbery, Luca visits Fisk and refuses to pay the $1.8 million to Victor. Fisk raises the amount to $2.8 million and gives Luca a week to pay it. He then learns from the city's sanitation department that Muse is using human blood in his street art. Muse later leaves the bodies of 2 victims next to a new mural as public confirmation of his actions. Fisk learns of this during a fundraiser with the city's elites, who are against his port rebuild plans. To deal with Muse, Fisk establishes an anti-vigilante task force with additional powers and recruits notorious police officers such as Detective Powell and former Detective Cole North. Angela believes Hector was investigating Muse before his death and asks Matt to continue his work. When Matt refuses, she goes herself and is abducted by Muse. Alerted to her disappearance, Matt finally decides to suit up as Daredevil, finds Muse's lair, and rescues Angela, but Muse gets away. Meanwhile, Fisk gives Adam an axe and challenges him to a fight in which Fisk beats him and drags him back to his cell. So, pound for pound, scene for scene, I think this probably is the best episode of Born Again so far. I really, really love this episode, and I'm not gonna lie, the final 10-15 minutes of this episode were just so fucking good, where we have this juxtaposition between Matt and Fisk. It reminded me a lot of, I don't know if y'all remember this season 2 finale of Arrow. At the very end, we have Oliver Queen fighting Deathstroke, and it's going back and forth between the flashback fight and the fight on the rooftop. This reminded me of that. Now, it's a little bit different, obviously, but I really enjoyed the editing of this little sequence between Fisk and Adam and then Matt and Muse. The back and forth editing was so damn good. It added a layer of tension that wasn't there previously. And also the camera work was really, really good here too. It did this reverse upside down shot of Muse once he got his ass knocked down to the ground. So I thought a lot of the camera work, a lot of the editing, all that was so interesting and kind of pulled me in, added more tension to the episode. And guys, look, I cannot overstate how much I loved that final sequence. We have Matt running down the subway, and we see Muse is kind of looking at him what the fuck is this dude doing? And then he wastes no fucking time going in there and beating Muse's ass. Such a great fight sequence. The whole thing was really great fight choreography, specifically the Matt and Muse fight, but the stuff with Fisk and Adam, that shit was good too. And it's so damn good after, episode 1, the fight between Daredevil and Bullseye, to have fight choreography that looked legit and didn't look CGI. This episode definitely reminded me of season 3. And look, I think season 3 is just about perfect. Y'all can check my review out that on the channel. But I really loved the ending to this episode. It really puts Muse right front and center into this storyline now. And now that he's escaped, what are his plans? I feel like when you bust up in the dragon's lair and you fuck with his shit, I feel like that's really going to piss him off. So what is going to be the consequences of Daredevil's actions in this episode? Is he going to find somebody with a connection to Daredevil / Matt and kind of make them pay, kill them, whatever? That's a big question mark for the rest of the season. I still feel like he's going to figure out who is Daredevil, and then he's going to go after his loved ones, or maybe he's going to follow him. I don't know. Something's going to happen, and now Matt has done pissed off the hornet nest, and Muse is going to come for his ass in one of the next upcoming episodes. But the juxtaposition between Matt and Fisk in those scenes I thought was really great, because both have been kind of tamed so far this season. And I mean that in a sense that, yeah, we've gotten little snippets of them being who they truly are. But for the most part, they've been kept under wraps. Fisk is trying to lead a straightaway life, even though we know he's fucking bullshitting everybody. And then Matt occasionally beats the shit out of people, and that's fine, right? He is staying away from being totally Daredevil, and Fisk is, for the most part, trying to rebuild the city, although he's trying to do it in a illegal way, of course. But with these scenes going back and forth, it really highlights the fact that they are now back to who they truly are as characters, and there's no turning back. So I think we can only ascend from this point forward with this first season of Born Again. But if I did have to have a little bit of a nitpick, Matt uses the Billy Club to pull himself towards Muse at the very beginning of that fight. Looks a little bad. Looks a little rough. The CGI there, not that great, but that's kind of a typical Marvel thing. I don't know if they expect us to really just ignore because we love the character so much, but guys, it could have been so much better if they would have just done the CGI just a little bit better. Now, granted, I'm gonna throw this out there. I don't know the fucking first thing about CGI and making it look great. All I know is it doesn't fucking look good here. But now let's talk about the fact that Matt finally dons the cowl once again. I sat here and have been talking about it for 5 episodes now that, there has to be something truly fucked up to really bring him back to the cowl with how adamant he has been to not don it once again. And now we've kind of seen him slowly kind of build to that and kind of creep towards the edge of being Daredevil once again. Sure. But I always thought that it would need something drastic to really bring him back into the game. And Angela comes into the office and she's pleading her case. She wants him to go after Muse or whoever is doing these murders or kidnappings. While I do think that scene is good overall as a standalone scene, and it makes you wonder, is she going to take up the mantle of White Tiger like she does in the comics? I just really wish that we would have gotten more of her before this episode. And that's one of my biggest complaints of Born Again is the fact that we're not developing these characters very well. We're just kind of throwing them in little moments and expecting that to be earned. And it's not. This moment could have been so much better had we gotten a little bit more time with her in the previous 5 episodes. But we've gotten one scene with her, and then apparently, I guess in episode 4, we had a scene with her that I don't fucking remember. But we're supposed to care about her character. We're supposed to care that she wants to go after the people that killed Hector, who up until this point we have totally fucking forgot about because what? We're just not going to find the cops that did this? Y'all talk about all the corruption and shit like that. We have just completely disregarded the fact that White Tiger was killed in cold blood. And up until her coming back in this episode and kind of bringing it back up that he got killed, I totally forgot about White Tiger in the storyline. Totally forgot about him. So there are just some big issues with this season that is preventing it from being as good as it could be. He dons the cowl once again because Angela gets kidnapped by Muse. Now, to me, I wish there would have been a more compelling reason for him to take up that mantle once again. And I get it that he has that connection with her and he wants to go find her. But to me, the way the show has been presented so far, I expected more from it. But I'm just happy that we're finally getting some movement in the Muse storyline. It's crazy that we have gone 5 episodes with barely any development of that villain. The murals are painted with blood. And yeah, we've gotten a couple of moments here or there where his character kind of shows up. But really that's it. And some of these characters kind of talk like they have known about Muse so far, and really he hasn't been brought up. They just talk about him like they fucking know who he is as a villain. You're talking like you kind of know him, and you really haven't done the legwork to this point to really justify that. And again, it brings up a broader issue with the series, and that is a lot of the things that happened so far not earned. Okay, they could be so much better than what they are. I like a lot of the moments that have happened in Born Again. In fact, I would say that I'm still enjoying this season. I think overall it'd be interesting to see how I feel about it on a rewatch from 1 through the end and watching it back to back rather than weekly. It'd be interesting to see how I feel about it. But to me, it still feels better, more interesting, and compelling than season 2 was. And that's mainly because I just fucking hated the Hand storyline, and Stick was thrown in there also, and I didn't fucking like him. But all that to say that despite its issues, there are still great things about this show that are happening. Just think that they could be so much better if they would have done the legwork beforehand to make a lot of these moments feel earned. And that's really the biggest issue with this series so far. But overall, guys, I thought this was probably the best episode of Born Again for sure. The fight at the very end was so damn good. It was one of those things. I'm not usually super vocal when it comes to like TV shows and movies. And during that fight, guys, I was getting so fucking hyped with everything that I was fucking hollering for sure. So I really enjoyed the ending to this episode. But guys, what did you think about episode 6? And give me some of the issues that you're having with the series so far. Let me know how you feel about Matt donning the cowl once again. And was it a compelling reason? Was it not? Let me know down below. And I will catch y'all next time on another episode. Laters.